Oh, hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My pronouns are that bitch.
That bitch pronoun merch on sale now.
What are your pronouns, Bella? What are they? I think she just called me a man. Today we're diving into a trans topic that I have not touched upon. Surprising. We're talking about neopronouns today. Now, if you don't know what neopronouns are, I learned like 3 days ago, so don't feel bad. So according to Miss Google, neopronouns are a category of new neopronouns that are increasingly used in place of she, he, or they when referring to a person. So some examples that we have here are bug and bug self, it and itself. That one's a little degrading. Bun and bun self, when you're like a bunny, and tree self. There are more, but those are the most popular ones. So if you're thinking, Blaire, that is absolute bullshit and no one actually uses those pronouns, I wish that were the truth. How much do you want to bet you're wrong? So actor Kenan Lonsdale, better known for his work on The Flash and Love, Simon, both shows that I have not watched, came out and identified his new pronouns that he wants everyone to use for him, which are tree and tree self. In an interview, he said, "I want people to call me Tree because we all come from trees. So it doesn't matter if you're a he or a she or a they or a them." I thought we all came from monkeys. At the end of the day, everyone's a tree. I want to call my friends Tree and me Tree and everyone Tree. So my first thought is that I want whatever tree he's smoking. That's not no regular tree, sis. You're on the good shit. My second thought is that this is highly narcissistic behavior. And no one ever really brings up narcissism when it comes to people who want people to call them doll and doll self and use these crazy pronouns that really just don't align with how human beings speak about other human beings. Like, there is so much narcissism that goes into that. If you expect everyone around you to alter the language in which they use for human beings, not even just for genders, because I remember when I first came out as transgender and my parents and my family and stuff, like they had, you know, it was a process to come around to using she all the time. Now they do, obviously, but in the beginning it takes some time to go from he to she. But to go from like normal human interactions and human language to be like, hey tree self, hey girl, that's ill. It's very much serving the same energy as like, pick out the red and yellow M&Ms for me, darling. Like, it's very that. And my next thought on that is we really need to, at some point, have a discussion for the expectation for me as a trans person. And not even just me. Let's talk about trans people in general. Everyone hates when I use me as an example, even though I am trans. So like, it's like, why shouldn't I? The expectation for trans people to not only accept, but view and regurgitate this sort of thing as comparable to their own experience, right? Like the expectation for actual trans people to view identifying as a fucking tree as still falling under the trans umbrella and like we're still the same, like that's an insult. Does the struggle really mean anything if it can just be boiled down to like the same thing as hi, I'm a tree? So something I've noticed upon researching neopronouns and who exactly uses them through TikTok, because where else of course would people use these pronouns but TikTok, it's almost overwhelmingly exclusively like teenagers using them. Teenagers being like, my pronouns are vamp and vamp self because they want to be fucking vampires. We're talking young teenagers, like, you know, like James Charles Victim's age, that, yeah. So obviously I didn't want to put like minors on here and be like, what are you doing? Because you know what they're doing. It's like, it's the new emo. It really is. And frankly, if anyone here knows what I looked like in high school, it's not that much of a motherfucking stretch to think I would have probably, if neopronouns were like a trend when I was in high school, used them. Although, I don't know, it was very anti-label back then. Remember when people were anti-labels? Now it's like collecting labels like they're fucking Pokemon. Like, I don't know. But there are definitely some adults who use them. Meet Bunny. Bun? Bunny?
Hi, my name is Bunny, and I use bun pronouns. Bun pronouns are a form of neopronoun. Outside of he and she pronouns, there's a whole world of neopronouns that can be used. In my case, mine are based off of bunny. So instead of she, her, hers, herself, it's bun, bun, buns, bunself.
So the thing is, do not go and like send this person any hate. I'm gonna remove their @ so that doesn't happen, because I think to anyone who can watch this TikTok, it's very clear this person is probably struggling with like some other issues, right? The only point to be made here is that not all issues need to be validated. At what point, when you're making people refer to you as a rabbit, do people who like love you be like, okay, listen, we know you're going through something, but you're not allowed to just put your issues on everyone else around you. You can't just put whatever you're going through on strangers throughout the world to call you a bunny. And like, what? You're neglecting the issues that you need to really be dealing with and replacing it with policing people and how they talk to you and like micromanaging the way in which people speak all around you. If anyone ever asked me to refer to them as a bunny, I would just reply with, oh baby, that's your problem. I gotta go. No, I don't have time to, dive into this particular endeavor with you, but I'm gonna pray for you. I have, though, known one person in my life who goes by Z Zer. And little story time. So there was this guy that I knew. He transitioned from a girl to a guy. This was in college. From a girl to a guy. Regretted it. Tried to transition back. Couldn't really reverse a lot of the stuff. And so eventually came to like a compromise where he was existing as like a Z-zer. Not like a he or a she, but like a Z or a zer, right? And I don't know. The way I am is like, I'm probably not going to try to talk to you if you have these types of pronouns, because I know I'm going to slip up, and like I'm not trying to like have a confrontation with someone because I'm not calling them Caesar or bunny and frog, like cantaloupe, watermelon, microphone, whatever. But we had mutual friends, so he came over to my townhouse in college for a party. I used to throw the most banger parties, oh my god. And within 5 minutes of being in my house, he had an absolute mental breakdown over the color blue. I'm not exaggerating. He said that he had a trigger for the color blue, and that if he saw it, it brought back like some sort of PTSD or just something crazy. And so he threw a huge panic attack and meltdown in the bathroom. And of course, everyone was like trying to tend to him and like, trying to get him to come out of the bathroom. And like, it was just a lot. Needless to say, did not hang out with him again. That was a bit much for me. But I say that to say, like, one thing I learned from going to therapy, and because I did go to therapy after my sexual assault when I was younger to sort of cope with it, your triggers are not anyone else's responsibility. Like, truly. They are for you and you alone to work through, and it's unfair to put that responsibility on other people. It's the same way that when I transitioned and I wanted people to call me she, like, I did have to put in a certain amount of effort and work to do that. Like, I wasn't just gonna be presenting as male, screaming at my mom to call me she, otherwise like I hate her. That defies common sense. It's unfair, and it's highly narcissistic. So that's what I think about when I think about people who really need everyone to speak a certain way around them and control the way everyone's talking. Like, that's gross. And honestly, the politicization of pronouns have really been one of the biggest downfalls for the trans community. The moment there started to be bills proposed that would like fine people for misgendering people in the workplace and enforcing pronoun usage, we saw Bill C-16 in Canada. Certain ones have happened here, but really not as severe. That was the biggest downfall, because anytime people feel like you're like going after them and trying to police the way they talk, they're going to get angry. And speaking of trauma, like at some point we also have to talk about people who identify as trans due to trauma rather than because they have gender dysphoria or because they are actually trans. So recently, Courtney Stodden came out as trans or as non-binary, as a they, them, and has made some headlines from that. If you don't know who Courtney Stodden is, she was a reality star and a media figure, and she rose to fame because she was 16 and married a 60-year-old man, and the relationship began before she was even 16. Her mother consented to marry her off to a 60-year-old man. Literal child bride in America. She came out on Instagram writing, "They, them, theirs. I don't identify as she or her. I've never felt like I fit in anywhere." She goes on to write, "I was bullied horribly in high school because I was different. The other girls never understood me. It got so bad that my mom pulled me out of school. And still, I don't fit in. I never really connected with anyone my age." And I'm sorry, but there's really nothing in there that's indicative of being trans. Like the age thing, I don't even get. Like, are you also trans age? Like, I don't get it. I don't know, dude. It seems like a very misguided attempt at assessing some sort of trauma. Because when you're a 16-year-old child bride, and maybe you were bullied in school and stuff, like, I'd be willing to bet that she has a certain amount of trauma from that. I'm pretty sure she's talked about the trauma that all of that caused, like marrying off so young to an old man. And I see this a lot. People who, like, join the trans community and their reasoning behind it is to address some sort of trauma they experienced earlier in life. The problem is you're most likely not identifying the actual trauma and healing from it and moving on from it, but using trans as a scapegoat or as a band-aid, and it's not going to work. Also, it's really not missed on me that in recent years, it seems like a really cheap, easy way to get a lot of media attention for celebrities to come out as they, them, and non-binary and trans and all that. And of course, it's very convenient to come out as a they, them because you don't have to actually commit to any sort of transition. Courtney Stodden, Sam Smith, the guy from Queer Eye whose name I can't remember, the one who looks like Jesus, the actor we talked about earlier with Tree and Tree Self, and literally just so many more I can't even think of. And I'm not saying every single one of them is disingenuine, but like, it's a little too convenient that it's just one after another, after another, after another, when you know that if this was 2014 or 2013, before this was even a trend, they would not be coming out. Like, half of a celebrity's job is just to follow trends anyways, and this just seems like another one, and it's very frustrating. That's why I'm not as mad when it's like a kid doing it, okay? Like, I'm not gonna get into that. But when it comes to these adults, y'all are like slandering trans people by trying to say you're trans and also a tree and a bunny. Like, fuck off. Anyways, that is it for this video, you guys. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel as well as my second channel. I'll put an annotation somewhere on the screen for you to click that and subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok because I post on there way more than I do on here, so you gotta follow those to keep up with me. Definitely consider joining my Patreon, link down below, because I have a podcast being posted on there very soon, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.